Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the weekend edition of Primetime News. We are coming to you live and direct this evening from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Joel Outspoon. Let's start off with a look at the headlines.
President receives report on the controversial central bank treasury bond issuance. Medical Council ready to accept SITEM students with clinical training. Farmers in Ampara spend the night outside the Farmers Cooperative owing to delays in drought concessions. Revelations in the shooting at the Valikada prison by the then jailer.
Starting off with our top story this evening, now the report of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the Treasury bond issue was officially handed over to the President today.
The report was presented by Supreme Court judges Justice K.T. Chittusivi, Justice Prasanna Jayawardena and retired Deputy Auditor General V. Kandasamy. The handover took place at the Presidential Secretariat this afternoon.
Alleged impropriety at the 27th February 2015 Treasury bond auction led to public outcry, forcing not one but two committees on public enterprise to investigate it. However, as those who alleged to be involved continue to hold top positions, the President decided to appoint a commission to investigate the matter.
President Maithripala Sirisena appoints Presidential Commission of Inquiry to investigate the Treasury bond issue. Attorney General's Department say EPF purchased 140 billion rupees worth bonds in secondary market in 2015 and 2016, 80% from Perpetual Treasuries Limited. Arjuna Mahendran's lawyer produces letter with no date but with signature of former Finance Minister Ravi Karunanaike. Letter refers to a breakfast meeting on the 26th February 2015 and a requirement of 75 billion rupees. Auditor General says immediate loss from 27th February 2015 auction was 889 million rupees. Attorney General's Department exposes pattern in trading designed at the expense of the EPF to mask the real beneficiary in trading. A witness says former Finance Minister Ravi Karunanaike's family leased out a penthouse at Monarch Residencies for 8 months with the monthly lease rental of 1.4 million rupees being paid by Arjun Aloysius. Ravi Karunanaike says his family was involved in securing an apartment and he was not aware who was paying the rent. Also in August, the CID for the first time ever conducted a digital forensic examination on the phones of Arjun Aloysius, Arjuna Mahendran and several others. Former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran says Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe gave the directive to stop direct placements. Chairman, CEOs and general managers of 3 state banks say former Finance Minister Ravi Karunanaike on 2 occasions instructed them to bid at low rates. Ministers Kabir Hashim and Malik Samaravikrama say they did not discuss the bond auction at the breakfast meeting. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says he directed Mahendran to consider issuing bonds by the way of public auctions.
Still in the news here at home, now Parga Hokulea, located in the Ampara district, was severely affected by arid weather. Farming families who visited the cooperative centre yesterday to collect aid returned home early this morning because the aid material arrived late.
Farming families from Parga Hokulea, Kotahena and Kosapola in visited the cooperative centre last morning to collect their aid packages. The authorities had announced aid packages will not be released after 12 noon yesterday. However, these aid packages had not even reached the cooperative centre even at that time. As a result, these farming families were forced to remain at the centre until early this morning.
යන්න බය පාරේ විශ්වාස නැහැ ඉතින් කොයි වෙලාවෙ විශ්වාස නැහැ ඉතින් කඩන්න බෑ ඉතින් පාරේ ඉතින් රෑ මේ 600ක් විතර ඉන්නවනේ මේ ඔක්කොම ජෝල් වලට යන්න බෑද දැන් රෑ 10ත් පහලනේ තව දවස් දෙකක් දීර්ඝ කරා නම්
මේක හරි මේ අද දවස් විතරක් මේ දෙන්න කියලා එහෙම අවස්ථාවක් දෙන්න හොඳ නැහැ. මේ දේශපාලන මොන රෙද්දක් තියෙනවද කියලා අපි දන්නේ නැහැ.
What made matters even worse was the cooperative centre only had 2 officers. In addition to all this, the power supply to the centre had been obtained in a very dangerous manner, attaching metal rods to the electricity cables on the road. Newsfirst contacted the divisional secretary of Ampara and she said the situation is such because of the delays in releasing provisions.
Now, incidents of election law violations were reported today as well.
Additional Elections Commissioner Saman Ratnayaka, speaking to News First, said the police has been instructed to remove all illegal election banners, posters and other propaganda. He also noted that the Elections Commission is taking action based on complaints lodged with the election officers set up in each district. The UPFA office located in the Salu Apullanavava electorate in Dambulla was attacked by an unidentified group last night.
Those who stole money, engaged in corruption and lined their pockets are today contesting from the flower bud. They are individuals who do not have any character. That is why they engage in such activities. With me today is the UNP candidate who is running opposing me. We travel on the same political journey. Whoever engages in such lowly acts should be punished. This is a village level election and the people of the village know the character of everyone who is contesting. They know who the good people and who the bad people are.
The joint opposition convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
John Senaviratne has made a correct statement during a meeting with his supporters. It was the UNP that made most of the decisions in the recent past with regard to the economy. His statement made it very clear that they would have a hard time explaining the rising cost of living when they go to the villages. The UNP's policies has caused harm to the Sri Lankan farmers, SMIs, local entrepreneurs and local assets. The policy interest rates have risen by 100% when compared to that during the Mahinda Rajapaksa era. These days, they are selling drugs in the open while they are smuggling coconuts. They are smuggling coconuts because the government has imposed rules saying you can't sell coconuts over 70. The president should take immediate action against the bomb thieves. There should be expedited court proceedings against them. That is what the people are waiting for.
Minister Susil Premajanta expressed these views addressing a Sri Lanka Freedom Party Bala Mandala meeting in Kegol.
The party has gone up and down over the years. I remember after the 1974 election loss, there was a bigger division within the party. There were different parties that were created because of it. However, after several rounds of all those divisions came together in 1994 under the symbol of the chair and the name People's Alliance. We won that election. However, the government fell in 9 months because 12 people crossed over. Who are these people? Bandula Gunawardana, G.L. Piris, Lakshman Kiriyalla are just a few of them. They won their seats under the SLFP ticket. They crossed over and helped Ranil Wickremesinghe win the government in 2001. Some contested while others came through the national list. Back then, the UNP was good for them. I am making these statements for the benefit of those who are levelling allegations at the SLFP. Except for Mahinda Rajapaksa and a handful of others, no one was there with us in 1994 when we won under the People's Alliance. When Mahinda won in 2005, where was the party leader of this new party? He was on Ranil Wickremesinghe's stage. The chair was on the symbol that won the election for us after 17 years of defeat. Who is the current chairman of the People's Alliance? It's Mahinda Rajapaksa. So there was a platform for us to come together. Members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party can join a party that is being led by G.L. Piris. We are currently members of the party led by President Maithripala Sirisena. So how can we go and join G.L. Piris? So we held discussions and we suggested that we contest under the symbol of the chair, with Mahinda Rajapaksa as the chairman and the former PM D.M. Jayawardena as the secretary. Imagine if we did that. Our candidates would have won even if they stayed at home. How can anyone ask us to join the flower bud led by G.L. Piris?
කොහොමද එහෙම කළා නාම යෝජනා දුන්නද? එහෙනම් ගෙදර ඉඳලා දිනුම් අපේ සීලම අපේක්ෂක. දැන් එහෙම කරපුව අපිට කාට හරි කියන්න පුළුවන්ද මේ පුහුට්ටුවට බඳින්නයි කියලා. ජීල් පිරිස් මහත්තයා.
We know very well that the armed forces come under the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces as well as the minister of defense, and then the power is vested with the defense secretary. They select a person by name of Manjushri first. They took him as well as two others by names of Kapila and Mala. Those three were murdered first. This document says that the strike force was similar to one that would be used when attacking a terrorist camp.
They carried out the inspection of the L block. Did you inquire from at least a commanding officer there as to who gave the order?
I spoke to an officer and I told him that I need to speak to a higher official. No one spoke to me. I remained there for about 15 to 20 minutes. There was no issue there. In reality, there was no issue there at the time. I had to carry out the duty of the chief jailer as well in addition to my duties. It was Mr. Valisundara who was supposed to be on duty on that day as he was off. When I was returning, Mr. Ranavana was walking towards me along with my superintendent, Mr. Gamini Jaisingha. I was questioned. I said there was no issue. They had an idea to inspect the chapel ward as well. People who are serving the death sentence and people who are serving the capital punishment are here. Yes, all these people were held in the corridors. Everything happens according to a timetable inside the prison. We work according to that timetable.
When did this location become chaotic?
That area did not become chaotic. When I returned to my office over here, I heard a loud noise from this area. The SDF had gone into the chapel ward. I was not aware.
Had they finished the mission here?
Yes, they had.
What did they do after they went into chapel ward?
I went there after I heard the loud noise. They had searched the cells and the people were in the corridors. The people were shouting. I remember very well a person called Ajmer told me. I was also a cop. What right do they have to beat us? Since he was a police officer, he knew the law to some extent. The people here opposed this. The people were emotional and aggravated. Only we would know how to act during a situation like this.
There are two things that the media caught up on. One was the visual where security forces were lined up near the door, and the other is that of a group of people were on a wall of a building carrying weapons. Where did that happen?
That incident happened here at the main armory. This is the sub-armory. This is where they broke into. As per my knowledge, when tear gas is used, it should be used in a way that the people can evacuate. When they use tear gas in a closed building like this, what will happen to the people?
Did they use tear gas here?
They used it here, then they used it there. This is a massive incident which prolonged for over 5 hours. They used tear gas here. The people got agitated. They broke through. When the superintendent and myself were standing here, there were around 1,000 inmates who worked near the L hall. The tear gas team attacked those inmates as well.
Did they attack people who were not doing anything?
Yes, they attacked them with tear gas, and those people threw the canisters back at the SDF. They also started pelting stones at the SDF. They used tiles and bricks. That is when this whole incident began.
When they surrendered the weapons, your name is mentioned as a person who mediated the return of these weapons.
At the first instance, I took over 12 weapons.
When they took the weapons away, they might have taken the bullets away as well. How many people were injured as a result of the shooting? Were they randomly shot or were people targeted?
I think they were shooting at random.
Were any officers of the security forces injured as a result of the shooting by the inmates?
There were such injuries, but if you look at the injuries, there is a vast difference when you compare the shootings. Some of the prisoners had weapons training and some did not. There were injuries among the prisoners as well. The major injuries are through shots fired from outside. 4 officers were injured through shots fired from the inside. None of the prison officials were injured.
The 14th annual convocation of the Sri Lanka Institute of Advanced Technological Education was held in Colombo today. Minister of Higher Education and Highways Lakshman Kirwala was the chief guest at this year's convocation.
Because of this effort by the government in the last 2.5 years, we have received encouragement from rich countries and many of them have committed to invest in Sri Lanka to provide employment for our youth. Therefore, students passing out from these institutions will have great opportunities for employment within Sri Lanka. The medical students lost 8 months because of their boycott of lecturers. They were the losers, no one else. They lost 8 months of their seniority. And yesterday the Medical Council agreed to recognize the SITEM students. 5 more weeks of clinical training and they will be recognized as doctors on par with those coming. The struggle of the students, so-called struggle, has been in vain. Ultimately, the Medical Council has recognized the SITEM degree with a few weeks of clinical training.
Well, you're tuned on to the weekend edition of Primetime News. Up next is our investigative journalism segment, Action TV.
On the 3rd of November last year, Action TV made revelations regarding the secretive circular issued by the chairman of the Foreign Employment Bureau on the 3rd of March 2015. Yesterday, Action TV exposed that it has been proven that this circular is contradictory to the Foreign Employment Act No. 21 of 1985. This was revealed following an internal audit that was carried out under the instructions of the Secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Employment. This ministry took measures to keep this audit report, which we were able to locate, under the carpet for close to a year. As per the audit report, this circular, apart from being an illegal and fraudulent document, is a plan to rob a portion of the country's income of 1.5 billion rupees. In implementing this plan, the Bureau has used a certain foreign employment agency for their support. During the audit investigation, this agency has revealed the manner in which the former chairman of the Bureau, the present working director, and several officials have robbed the government a portion of its due income. During the time of the investigation alone, the government has lost an income of 123 million rupees through this malpractice that has been carried out over the registration of employees who go overseas on personal job offers. As per the Foreign Employment Act, those who accept personal job offers should credit their registration fees to the Bureau's account. However, the audit report states that the working director has taken measures to direct 70% of this fee to a certain foreign employment agency. During the investigation, the owner of the first employment agency has revealed that because he refused to pay a bribe of 20 million rupees requested by the working director, the opportunity was given to another agency. This incident was not taken for consideration during the investigation. However, the investigation has proven that the working director has provided an illegal means of income generation to another foreign employment agency. Due to the agency in question being inactive from 2010 to 2015, the registration has been cancelled. The investigation report recommends that legal action be taken against the working director, who has taken measures to direct an income of 123 million rupees due to the government to an agency that was inactive. Government ministers not only stated that the former Minister of Justice was the reason for allowing the investigation of corruption on the previous government to go dormant, they insisted that the minister leave his post. Due to this, the portfolio was given to the public representative who had been heading the Ministry of Foreign Employment. She continues to hold the post today. Therefore, if the Minister of Justice has a better ability to act against corruption and fraud, she should commence work by taking this investigation report into her hand, because the investigation report recommends legal action be taken against the working director of the Foreign Employment Bureau, who was appointed by her. Shouldn't removing the questionable director from his position be the first thing that should be done if the minister has the strength to act against corruption, irrespective of positions and affiliations? Minister of Foreign Employment, Promotion and Justice, this is over to you.
Following news still here at home this evening. Now, an event organized by the Akram Foundation to distribute books among school children was held in Colombo today.
We know that the leaders of this country who governed the country after freedom weren't able to raise our standards of education of that of the international level. They say it is free education, but our governments have been unable to change the free education system to suit the present. The district of Colombo is the heart of the country. However, the best results in the examinations are being reported from rural schools in Mathura, Hambantota and Jaffna. What has happened to Colombo? Does it mean that education in Colombo has collapsed? Parents go after politicians to get their children into a good school. The duty of the politician isn't to get these kids into good schools, but to ensure that they help all schools, especially the smaller ones, so they can give rise to talented kids.
නගරේ තියෙන පුංචිම පාසල් වලට උදව් කරලා මේ පුංචි පාසල් වලින් දක්ෂ දරුව බිහි කරන එකයි දේශපාලනඥයින්ගේ වගකීම වෙන්න ඕනේ.
ලාංකිකයන් කියන්නේ කතාවට දක්ෂ කට්ටිය.
People in Sri Lanka are very talented at speaking. However, when they get down to business, they can't do it. During the time of our ancestors, we used to export rice from Sri Lanka. Now we have to import it. Why? The production of rice will not reduce just because there isn't rain. Then how do people live in deserts, engaging in agricultural activities and export these items? The Bond Commission report that everyone was talking about will be produced today. This revelation will show who chased after it and who has lied.
Now, an individual was arrested in the Batuduwa area in Gaul for the possession of 5.5 kilograms of Kerala ganja. According to the police, this is the largest drug bust reported from the Gaul Police Division in recent history. Now, the arrest was made on a tip-off received by the Gaul Police, and the suspect was arrested while packaging the contraband at a house in the Batuduwa area. The police noted that the 32-year-old had been carrying out the racket for an extended period of time and that his primary targets were fishermen. You're tuned on to the weekend edition of Primetime News this evening. Now the day's top sports stories follows on the Sports Roundup.
A cricket match was played between the Army cricket team and the Chilaumerians under the Interclub Premier League cricket tournament. The Chilaumerians emerged victorious over the Army by an innings and 197 runs. The match was played in Newsfirst and the Chilaumerians put up a score of 545 runs in their first innings. Sri Lanka Army was only able to score 160 runs in their first innings. In their follow-on, Sri Lanka Army were all out for 188 runs. Sri Lanka Air Force weightlifting team won the men's and women's national weightlifting championships. The championship was held at the indoor stadium of the Ministry of Sports and was held under 8 categories. Around 250 participants competed in the event. This was also a training program for the sportsmen and women who will be taking part at the Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, Australia next year.
Now, more often than not, politicians think they are above the law. This particular politician in India had to learn the hard way that the law is equal to everyone. Now, while Newsfirst does not endorse police violence against protesting public, here's a visual that is circulating on social media. With that being said, we wrap the weekend edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for stopping by with us. The latest and trending stories follow us on our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Joel Oxgoon. Have yourself a great evening ahead. Take care.